So I shall start without much ado, sir. One of the hallmarks of all the budgets in the recent times has been the conservative approach. Very conservative budgeting in terms of numbers, assumptions, projections. This budget has been the same, 10.5% nominal GDP growth. The last three budgets has been 10.5%, if I'm right.
You rate of nominal growth.
You assume 11% for gross revenue collections. The question that I have is conservatism being taken too far? Because if you look at the actual numbers last year, what you projected and what actually happened, and even this year, 10.5% means you're assuming a 6% growth and 5% inflation, when everybody is talking of 7% growth, if not more than that, for this year. And similarly, in revenue collections, 11% is the gross revenue collection that you're projected. But the first 3 months of this fiscal is already 21% up gross tax collection, net direct tax collections. So this thing of under-promising and over-delivering, is it being taken to the extremes, and at what cost?
Probably no cost. I don't think there is a cost to under-promising, but I'm not even sure we are under-promising. I mean, the first thing is, you said that we're likely to have, so real growth this year, I think, could be anywhere from, I would say most likely 6.5%. It could be as high as 7%, though I would prefer to think it will be around 6.5%. So with 6.5% real growth and inflation at 4%, we would end up with 10.5% nominal growth. Why do I say inflation at 4%? You must remember that we are not talking about the consumer price index. We are talking about the GDP deflator. The GDP deflator is a weighted average of the wholesale price index and the consumer price index. And the wholesale price index is only growing at 1.75% currently. It used to be negative. Last year, our numbers for nominal growth were not actually achieved. We had said 10.5%, and nominal growth proved to be less than 10.5%. And that was because the wholesale price index was negative for most of the year. So it's another matter that tax revenue grew more than the nominal growth last year. And if you don't mind my little jibe, since we were sitting here about 2 or 3 years ago, a few of the things that we did, some of which I know you were not very happy with, such as the EPFO capping, the market-linked debentures, the debt funds. A lot of loophole plugging has meant that direct tax revenue has grown faster than it would grow in a business as usual scenario. So yes, direct tax growth has surprised on the upside, and that's a welcome surprise. Now, for the coming year, while direct tax growth has been healthy, I'm not sure what the picture will be on indirect taxes, which is GST and customs particularly. Trade is not exactly buoyant. So there are also some tax changes in the budget on the customs side, the duty on gold, etc. So we thought that it would be best to keep revenue growth. So why 10.5%? Because we think growth will be 6.5% to 7%, and inflation as measured by CPI plus WPI together, maybe around 4%. So it's likely to be 10.5% to 11% nominal growth. That explains so yes, is it conservative? Yes, I think the risk of its being exceeded is higher than the risk of its being undershot. But as a financial person, I prefer to be in that position rather than to be in a position where we expect it not to be achieved. So our median estimate would be that it will be achieved, and we may overshoot it slightly, but not very much. I don't think it's a very conservative estimate. It's a slightly conservative estimate. And at the time when people like me and Mr. Sampath Kumar were learning to be chartered accountants, it was officially called the Convention of Conservatism, not Prudence. So we are all old people, and we still use those old terms in our minds. So I think yes, conservatism, I would admit, but not too much.